This video is a film study preview of the Seattle Seahawks home game against the 49ers in Week 1 of the 2025 NFL season. I'm going to focus this one on Jaxon Smith-Njigba, someone who I think has been undercovered or not mentioned as much as he should be in all the discussion of Sam Darnold, Clint Kubiak, and the great and wonderful draft that John Snyder and those guys had. I'm going to utilize the Week 11 game against San Francisco last year, where JSN had 10 catches for 110 yards. He didn't score a touchdown. He almost did once, if not twice. Leading up to this Week 1 game against the 49ers team that really, to be honest with you, looks a little thin in the defensive secondary to me. Having said all that, I do think extremely highly of Renardo Green. He's someone that I covered prior to the 2024 NFL Draft and really hoped that the Baltimore Ravens would be able to acquire someone that I thought would be a late first round or a second round pick. And I think he really lived up to that billing in San Francisco last year. In terms of JSN, what I think is important to mention with him is, number one, his efficiency. 73% catch percentage in 2024. That's 15th best among all wide receivers, that is. We're omitting running backs and tight ends here. Just wide receiver efficiency. JSN among the best wide receivers in the league in terms of catches to targets. And in fact, 7 or 8 of the guys in front of him are not high-volume targets, players with 47 overall catches, 39, 55. Well, JSN had 100 in 2024. He lines up everywhere. Clearly, he plays in the slot a lot, but you get 2 reps of him, I think, outside to the boundary here. He's got wins there as well. In motion, going to be used in motion a lot. And I'll make a player comparison in this video that may surprise some of you guys as Seahawks fans. Let's get the film started here. Like I said, 11 targets in this game. San Francisco on the first possession is giving away that they're playing in man with a single high safety look set to the field. So Green is down here essentially man-to-man solo with JSN. The route combination, the way this is going to work, JSN starts to press to the outside here, and then he'll bring the route back to the inside. This tight end concept here is all designed just to hold this underneath defender and give the quarterback an open window to shoot the ball into the right hash, in between the right hash, and the top of the numbers. You can see Geno is looking absolutely to that side, and you got 2 routes here. It's JSN and the tight end, which I think is just a checkup route. What I mean by checkup is just to hold a second-level defender, in this case a safety and an inside linebacker, and give Geno Smith a clear path to get this ball into JSN. This is an outside win. This is a legitimate outside win against a really good corner in Renardo Green. Into the second quarter now, San Francisco, in fact, has a 7-6 lead at this point. JSN, not the outside receiver, into the slot, into the boundary, which is one of the reasons why I suspect that John Schneider and the front office drafted Arroyo to set that a receiving tight end to the field and utilize Kupp and or JSN as a slot into the boundary. Typically, that's where a tight end would be located. I don't know about you, but I'll be really happy to not see the running back motion out so much for Seattle's offense pre-snap, because certainly got a ton of that last year. But this is a brilliant catch, if you ask me. So once again, Geno is looking to JSN's side. Also, Charles Cross pretty much got ran over on this play. I'm not a Charles Cross critic. In fact, I really liked him leading into the draft, I think 3 years ago. But he did absolutely get run over here by, I think it's Leonard Floyd. In terms of JSN, he's running kind of like an out and up, almost a wheel, taking his route to the outside, and then going to bring that route back up the sideline. And it's a brilliant catch. Geno puts it, under heavy duress, I should say. Geno puts it in a place where only JSN could go get it, up high, elevated. He just seems to be one of those guys that does everything perfect, meaning you'll watch him make a catch, perhaps, and think, okay, he was probably out of bounds there, or there was a bobble, live speed, there appeared to be a bobble. No, when you rewatch some of these plays, he did get both feet down. He did get both knees down. He didn't bobble the ball. He's just one of those players. It's almost a little bit annoying if you're a fan of another team. The player comparison that I'm going to make, I'll give you here in a moment, is another guy of the same flavor, if you ask me. This is the same play from the end zone angle where Cross gets, run over. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Geno backed up to his own end zone, right, or backed up to his own goal line, is still able to get this throw off despite the pressure. Like I said, I think it's from Leonard Floyd. And then there's the catch for JSN. Smooth gets the foot down right here, and then it does end up going out of bounds. Here's the guy that he reminds me of, and this will probably catch you a little bit by surprise. And it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, St. Brown is on another level in terms of statistical production. If you don't know, first of all, he's got 430 catches through 4 seasons. That's number 2 all-time to Michael Thomas, who really put up, 2 of the most unbelievable seasons ever in the history of NFL football. We're talking about Michael Thomas, 125 catches on 147 targets, I believe. 81% catch percentage, somewhere in that area, maybe even 85 out of 120 catches is ridiculous. Well, St. Brown last year had 116, maybe 119 catches, one of those two, on 81.6% catch percentage. Last year, JSN was at 73%, 100 catches on 137 targets. He's extremely efficient, incredibly smart. He knows where to be. The quarterback trusts him to be in the right spot, especially on third downs. Tough and versatile. There's really, if you ask me, nothing that you shouldn't like about JSN, the way he goes about his business. Moving forward here, we'll be into the third quarter. So this is JSN in the slot to the bottom side of our screen, the right-hand side of the offense. 10-6 49ers. Now, so here's the combination that's going to come up. So Lockett motions down, and then he's going to kind of start to bring his route back to the outside, but the ball's already out at that point. JSN, a little bit of a shielded release by the tight end. The way that the tight end gets out of here helps ensure that JSN is getting a free release. This DB was not going to be able to jam him anyway, but really all they've done with Tyler Lockett's route and the tight end's release is ensure that this corner has to go over the top of all this trash in order to try to cover JSN in the flats. And you can see Geno is looking in that direction completely right off the snap. Easy completion, easy pitch and catch, I should say, for JSN out to the right side. Just another third down. I looked it up. He had 24 catches in 2024 on third down. I think that's like 7th or 8th in the NFL. Wan'Dale Robinson was first with 34. St. Brown was second with 31. I think 26 or 27 of St. Brown's catches on third down, 26 out of 31 or 27 out of 31 went for first downs. For JSN, he had 24 catches on third downs, and 20 of them produced a first down. Clutch, smooth, efficient. All of those are the reasons why I chose to make that player comparison. I'm normally not really good at player comparisons, so if you don't like that one, feel free to let me know. Another situation where the running back is going to motion out pre-snap, so you're giving away that it's pass play, obviously. But there is a reason why they did this so much last year, and I hope they keep this concept, to be honest with you. It's a middle screen to JSN. So he's initially going to work to the outside, he being JSN, the same direction that the running back motioned out to, and then JSN brings his route back underneath of these two blocks here. And I'll give you the end zone angle in a moment so you can see both guards. This is right guard Bradford, left guard, I'm not sure exactly who that is, but JSN catches the ball, and it's his ability to catch the ball smoothly and keep running. There's just no hesitation. There's no giddy up at all when he catches the ball. He's on his path. This is the one he almost scores on. A brilliant play. I'd love to see them keep this concept. It basically, has Kubiak retained it? We don't know because, we've only seen the offense in the preseason. Same play from the end zone angle, so Walker is going to motion right to left on our screen, but left to right for the offense. And the way that this is working out is both of these tackles are pass setting as well as the center. But the guards, illustrated by the yellow lines, are pass setting briefly and then releasing up to go block in front. Bradford is number 1. You can see the block that he picks up to allow JSN to sneak underneath. And then the left guard is the second guy. I'm not sure who he gets a hold of. might actually be Renardo Green. In any case, it's a huge play in the third quarter, late third quarter, in fact, that allowed Seattle to go down and take a 13-10 lead. Moving forward here a little bit, a lot has happened in between the play that I just mentioned or highlighted, and then now in the fourth quarter. This is a 2nd and 9. 49ers have taken a 17-13 lead. If you recall, at this point, Seattle ends up going for it twice on 4th down on this drive and failing on the second iteration of it. So the route combination here, JSN is in the slot up to the top side. He's going to run a short out, and I think that's Tyler Lockett to the top side. There's immediate pressure from, once again, I believe it's Leonard Floyd off the left side of Seattle's offensive line. Initially, Geno is looking to the downside of our screen, the left-hand side of the offense, and you can see the pressure that's happening here with Floyd on cross, and then I believe the left guard steps out to help out and basically decleats Floyd. Geno is flushed out of there, and the cool thing about this play is something like this had just happened 2 possessions earlier, whereby JSN was working up the right sideline or one sideline and then tries to come back. Geno kind of overthrows him, and it ends up being an interception. Well, the same dynamic occurs right here in the fourth quarter after San Francisco has taken the lead, and this time Geno decides to throw the football. In fact, decides to throw the football to JSN again. In fact, JSN hasn't even recovered to come back to the ball yet, and as you can see, Geno is already getting rid of the football. He trusts him, and as you know, Sam Darnold is going to as well. Why wouldn't you, right? He's efficient, he's smart, just does everything the right way and makes it look easy. Same play from the end zone angle. Like I said, think this is Floyd. Perhaps I have his number wrong. It's another inside move, and this one against Cross. The left guard peels out of there and basically decleats Floyd and Cross at the same time, knocks both of them down. Geno is flushed out to the right after initially looking to his left as his primary read, and then throwing the football kind of off his back foot. Like I said, it's a 2nd and 9. You're down 4. You've already thrown an interception on a ball to JSN on a scramble situation, unsettled situation, and still trusts him to come over here, and he does get both knees down. Like I said earlier, he's one of those guys when you see something live, you think he didn't just do that. He did. He's really classy and professional at everything. I usually like NBA basketball comparisons, and this one will kind of give you my age. He almost reminds me of Walt Clyde Frazier. I'm old enough to have seen him play a little bit, and just someone who's really good at everything and high efficiency while doing so. Later on in the fourth quarter, this is after the failed 4th down that I discussed, but Seattle's defense was able to get a stop. JSN and DK Metcalf are actually stacked here. This is a 3rd and 5. This is the game-winning drive. Recall, like I said earlier, they had one stopped on 4th and 1, actually in San Francisco 49ers territory. Seattle's defense got a stop, and here we get JSN making multiple clutch catches on this drive. Kind of an easy one, if you will, in terms of Geno not having pressure, number one, and then also the break or the route that JSN is able to run. It's a little bit of a shielded release. He's lined up inside with Metcalf to the outside. So JSN's timed release gets to the outside, puts his left foot in the ground, and then bends back underneath of JK, basically through the same tunnel path, if you will. Easy completion, sure, but it's just another illustration that on 3rd down, he's exceptional. He's got a knack for it. Maybe that's one way to describe it. He's prepared, super smart. I think what's more important is that quarterbacks know he'll be in the right spot. Another one, same drive. We're inside of 2 minutes left in the game. JSN is up top, right-hand side of the offense, still down 17-13. Like I said, this is what mesh normally looks like. So we're going to talk about Lockett for a moment, and then we'll get to JSN's route, which emanates from the top side of the screen. So Lockett doesn't actually go all the way across. All right, so the routes that I had drawn up, my apologies, look like that. Lockett actually doesn't do this and go all the way underneath. He kind of gets here and then sits down like he's going to come back the other way, like a whip route, a China out, if you will. So it's almost like a half mesh because JSN sits down in the middle of the formation, not the middle of the field. Keep in mind the ball's on the right hash. So for mesh, that high sit route is basically After the two drags have worked themselves out by the defense and maybe widened up one or both of the underneath defenders, then the high sit route in between those guys makes itself available for the quarterback, Geno Quick. Like I said, he reminds me of St. Brown so much, just in that JSN's always there on third down. So consistent, precise with his routes. This will be the last one that I show you. Geno appears to maybe be changing the play. This is the same drive. This precedes Geno's game-winning scramble to win the game 20-17. JSN left side, we're less than 1 minute left in the game at this point. Like I said, Geno would score on the next play. Here's the route combination. Basically, you've got kind of an outside release hedge go by DK, and then JSN a little bit of a slot out as San Francisco brought the nickel blitz. So San Francisco has really made this easy here in that they're dropping out, I think it's Floyd, and then blitzing the nickel defender. JSN sees all. Super aware, in my opinion. This is one of my favorite players to watch film of. I kind of had my favorite Seahawks players to watch film of, I should say. I kind of had this video queued up for a month, to be honest with you. And I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to get to it before this 49ers game. In watching 3 separate games of him in the offseason, it's just a couple things that come across. Tough as nails, right? Willing to take a hit to accomplish whatever his task, whatever he's responsible with. Very clutch on third downs. It showed you that I think he was 7th or 8th in the league in third down catches last year, and in fact, 20 of those 24 catches became first downs. He's just fully committed to whatever he's asked to do. I think he's a brilliant young player. I'll say the same thing about him that I said about St. Brown after the 2022 season. If you don't know, St. Brown had 90 catches as a rookie, so very different from a statistical production standpoint than JSN's rookie year. I think JSN had like 63 catches. St. Brown had 90. His next year, I think he had 119, somewhere in that range. And immediately after 2022, I said they should extend him as soon as they're legally allowed to do so, because the price tag is only going up. I get the same feeling about JSN, that the more seasons he plays, the price tag is just going to go up. I don't know when exactly teams are allowed to offer extensions to players. And for me, based on what I saw last year from JSN, I would want him extended as soon as possible. The price tag for receivers is ridiculous already. It's probably going to go up even more. The price tag for JSN individually, if he gets 110 to 115 targets, is only going to go up, because he's going to give you 73, 75% completion percentage, 8, 9, 10 touchdowns probably, and another 20 to 25 catches on third down. Super valuable piece of this offense. Cooper Kupp, Sam Darnold, Clint Kubiak get all the attention, as well as the offensive line upgrades and the draft overall. In my opinion, JSN is one of the pieces or parts of the engine that makes the whole thing go. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him compete against Renardo Green. Just so you know, when I evaluate the draft, I evaluate it just on the players. I don't do it from a Ravens-centric standpoint. Certainly don't do it from a Lions or Seahawks-centric standpoint. I just do it based on evaluating the players. And I remember looking at Renardo Green in the 2024 NFL draft and thinking, this is a really good football player that I think should go late first round, perhaps early to mid-second. And the 49ers got him, and I think he's going to be a really good piece of the puzzle for them on the defensive side of the ball. In any case, that matchup is one that I'm looking forward to seeing, and that which further enhances the versatility, or I should say, further provides value for the versatility that JSN brings, in that you don't have to line him up to the boundary every time, which is generally where Renardo Green is going to be. You can move him around, put him in the slot, put him inside, and JSN gets things accomplished really no matter where you put him. In any case, if you guys enjoyed this film study look at JSN and the possible impact that he could have once again against the 49ers, this time in Week 1, and albeit in Seattle, then please consider grabbing a link to this video and sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach. As an aside, if you don't know, I have created a Seahawks Discord about 6 weeks ago. At this point in time, I think we have 13 people in there. It's a private or secure community, I should say, whereby trolls or members of other fan bases can't interrupt and come in and destroy any flow of any conversation. It's a place where we can discuss the game, the players, and the coaches and decisions seriously in a secure environment for Seahawks fans. If you would consider joining that, it's a part of my Patreon, and it is $5.50 a month. Appreciate you guys' time.